We would now like to start a regular press conference by Minister Kamikawa. Good morning. Since the appointment as Foreign Minister, 2 weeks have passed. Last week, I went to UNGA High-Level Week in New York. For over 5 years, intensively, I met with 16 leaders and foreign ministers and representatives for international organizations, participated in 12 multilateral conferences, and I attended 5 leaders-related events. So I started this overseas trip only 5 days after the appointment, but I am confident that with my counterparts of various countries, I was able to establish personal relationship, which is the basis of diplomacy. Also, many dignitaries welcomed me and expressed expectations to me as women foreign minister, so I am very humbled. Now, for diplomacy, continuity is important. Yesterday, I met with Dr. Sultan Al-Jabel, Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology and Special Envoy of Japan of UAE, who is visiting now in Japan. I welcomed him in Ikura Guest House, and I had a first ministerial meeting of the CSPI, Comprehensive and Strategic Partnership Initiative, high-level week in the UNGA last week. Based on the outcome of those meetings, I would like to carry out my diplomacy, protecting Japan's interest, and also to realize the international peace. I would like to carry out Japan's diplomacy firmly going forward. That's all from me. Thank you very much. If you are called, please identify yourself and your affiliation. Matsuyama-san, Asahi Shimbun. Asahi Shimbun Matsuyama is my name. Foreign Minister Kamikawa, you went to UNGA with Prime Minister Kishida and appeal the UNSC reform, and G4 should be made permanent members, and also you are also trying to curb the veto of permanent members. There is a difficulty. How are you going to get the understanding and support going forward for the concrete process?
In the general debate speech, Prime Minister Kishida emphasized moving to taking specific actions towards the Security Council reform, as well as the future summit scheduled in 2024 and the 80th anniversary of the establishment of the United Nations in 2025. As for myself, the other day during the UNGA, I participated in the G4, Japan, Germany, India, Brazil foreign ministerial meeting. On that occasion, we agreed to seek the specific results by collaborating with the related countries, including Africa and the United States. At the Quad Foreign Ministerial meeting, we reaffirmed the promotion of the Security Council reform. In addition, through various meetings, including these meetings I mentioned, we discussed the enhancement of the functions of the United Nations as a whole, including Security Council reform. In each country's statements, the speeches in the general debate, from the U.S. President Biden, there was the expression of the support for the Security Council reform. Many countries expressed very, very positive messages about the strengthening of the United Nations, including the Security Council reform. Security Council reform that entails various complex interests. It's not going to be easy, but in addition to G4, including the US and Africa, there are many countries who want to reform. We would like to deepen the collaboration, and we would like to be tenacious. Next, NHK Igarashi-san, please. NHK Igarashi, the other day during the UNGA, I have a question. Generally speaking, the foreign ministers you met, 50% of them are women. The promotion of those women overseas, when you look at them, what was your impression?
Yes. Since I became foreign minister, only after 1 week after the appointment, I went to UNGA. I met with my counterparts of various countries in person, and I had a very frank exchange of views. I think this was very fortunate. As you mentioned, the foreign ministers I met this time, about half of them are women, and that was quite impressive. Throughout my visit there, many people expressed welcome and expectations to me as foreign minister, women foreign minister. I was humbled. Diplomacy requires a continuity. So based on the outcome of this visit, and also with the long history in mind, I would like to carry out diplomacy with a big picture in mind as well. Thank you. Next question, Nikkei, Enomoto-san. Nemoto, Nikkei. Changing the subject, today in Seoul, there is a trilateral senior officials level talk between Japan and China. There is a lot of concerns, including treated water release issue. And what is the significance of having trilateral meeting? And also, the Korean side wants to organize a leaders meeting, a foreign ministers meeting by the end of this week. What is the prospect?
Regarding your first question, today, 26th, in Seoul, Japan, China, South Korea senior official level meeting is being held. These three countries share major responsibility for the region's peace and prosperity. I think it's a significant place to discuss such matters as the tripartite cooperation as well as the issues in the region. As for the discharge of upstreated water, in terms of our relations with China on various levels, seizing various opportunities, we clearly conveyed our position as the government concerning the safety of the upstreated water with high transparency. We intend to give careful explanation to the international community. To the Chinese side, will be strongly demanding the science-based reaction. Regarding the second point, for peace and prosperity in the region, three countries have major responsibility. The top leaders gather in one place, and for the direction and for the cooperation among the three countries, or specific cooperation, I think it's a significant place to have a discuss the regional issues. As for the specific process among the tripartite cooperation and the schedule, including the foreign ministerial that you mentioned, it has not been decided yet. But Japan-China ROK process concerning the necessity to restart it promptly, three countries are in agreement. Continuously, we would like to study this firmly. Kyodo, Katsurada-san, please. Kyodo Tsushin Katsurada. Azerbaijan and Armenia in the conflict area of Nagorno-Karabakh. I have a question to this region. Azerbaijan started military action causing many people to lose their lives. And then in Nagorno-Karabakh, agreed to ceasefire. The Azerbaijan, Armenia, they are discussing the peace, the negotiations, but some people say that Azerbaijan is a unilateral way to change the status quo. What's the take of the Japanese government? How do you look at this military action about affiliation of Nagorno-Karabakh? What's the basic stance by the Japanese government?
Regarding the first question, after the outbreak of this violence on the 20th of September, I issued a foreign minister's statement, and I expressed the concerns regarding the worsening of the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. And also, I called for the immediate cessation of hostilities and for Azerbaijan to stop military activities. After that, between Azerbaijan and ethnic Armenian armed organization, a ceasefire was reached, I understand. So Japan is going to continue to monitor the situation of local people and monitor the development of the situation going forward. Regarding the Nagorno-Karabakh issues, Japan is urging all the concerned people to use dialogue to resolve this regional issue in a peaceful manner. Second question, Japan has been emphasizing the importance of the territorial integrity and also the principle of sovereignty and the impregnability of borders of this country. And in any case, for these issues, there should be dialogue and peaceful resolution among all the parties concerned. Pan Orient News, Azahari-san.
Pan Orient News, first, congratulations on your appointment, Minister. And also thank you for allowing questions in English. My question is just follow up to my Asahi Shimbun colleague. It's about the reforms of the United Nations and the United Nations Security Council that Japan has been calling for many years. And you said that the credibility of the Council has been shaken by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Arab countries also say that the trust and credibility of the United Nations Security Council has been even lost with the lack of action toward Israeli occupation of Palestinian land and the annexation of Golan Heights. So my question is what exactly your reform, Japan's called reform, will do to restore this trust? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The credibility of the United Nations has been damaged by Russia's aggression against Ukraine. In order to restore this, it's important to enhance functions of the United Nations, including the Security Council reform. At the risk of repeating, the other day at the general debate speech, Prime Minister Kishida emphasized moving to taking specific actions, looking at the future summit in 2024 and the 80th anniversary of the United Nations establishment in 2025. As for myself, the other day at the UNGA, in the G4 Foreign Ministerial meeting, we reached to seek concrete results promptly by collaborating with the Africa, United States, and other related countries. At the Quad Foreign Ministerial meeting, we reaffirmed the promotion of the Security Council reform. Now, Security Council reform is not easy at all. There are complex interests involved of various countries. In addition to G4, including the United States and Africa, many countries who want reform, we would like to deepen the collaboration and we would like to be tenacious. NHK Igarashi-san. NHK Igarashi. The other day, regarding the promotion of women overseas, looking at Japan, we are behind other countries. World Economic Forum, according to June, the established gender gap index, Japan was 125th out of 146, especially in the political participation. The number of women legislators, number of women ministers, it's low. How do you look at this?
This year in June, a gender gap index was published, particularly in economic and political area. Our scores are very low, and our situation is lagging far behind compared to other countries. So I think we need to accept this with humility. So the government decided upon Women's Basic Policy 2023 in June of this year. So there is going to be a whole of government approach. We are going to pursue this policy very aggressively within LDP under the strong leadership of Prime Minister Kishida in order to reflect the diverse opinions on policies. We have set a very ambitious numerical targets to promote women's political participation. And actually, I am the chairman of the task force promoting women's participation and put together policy together with other colleagues. I myself, as a women minister, I would like to live up to Japanese people's expectation by carrying out foreign policies. And also, in terms of the cabinet women ministers, I think we have to continue with this practice, and we need to have more women cabinet ministers going forward. Any other questions? Thank you. This concludes the Foreign Ministers Conference. Thank you.